Okay, everybody, welcome to the Contextual Christian Church Bible Study. Today we are going to get into 2 Samuel chapter 2, and we're going to start reading at verse 24 after the summary and the prayer. Everybody bow your heads if you can, or bow your heads if you can hear me. Father, thank you for bringing us together for this Wednesday. We're going to get into a Bible
there
study.
we go. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go back and pray it, and then I'm gonna do the summary.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Father, thank you for bringing us together for this Wednesday to get into this Bible study. Um, this was probably going to be a practice day Bible study for all of us. Practice with context, practice with getting the names right. So it still should be a good one either way goes. As long as we're reading your will, your way, and what people that followed your will and your way went through, we can still gain something out of that. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen.
All right. So in our last study, we started off, if my phone worked, we started off in 2 Samuel chapter 2 in verse 8. So in our last study, we read after David was anointed and king over the tribe of Judah. And what's his name? Well, with that, we read that. So we started reading with Ishbosheth. Ishbosheth. He's the son of Saul. Now he's brought over and he's 40 years old and he's made king over other areas, other regions, and the rest of the children of Israel. And we got a time frame of how long these two were in reign. How long these two were, reigning over the people. Where we have David reigning over the house of Judah for 7 years and 6 months, while Ishbosheth he reigned. He only did 2 years when he was king. And after we got that time frame, we got both sides. So we have the Ishbosheth, the Team Saul, we'll say that, with Abner and 12 men of the tribe of Benjamin. And then we have side B. We have David. We have Joab. Joab has some servants with him. David has servants with him. And they have also 12 men on their side. And so Abner's, they all linked up and met at Gibeon, a place in Gibeon. And Abner he looks and says, okay, well, let the young men play. Now, when I first read this, I thought, maybe there's some type of sport. Well, there is a sport, a blood sport. This is some gladiator stuff that they're going through right now. So it's 12 of the young men of David's side versus 12 of the young men of Team Saul, which is Abner and Ishbosheth. But David's men get the best of Team Saul's men. They're winning. And with Abner seeing this, he goes off. But Joab, the guy I brought up earlier, he had a servant with him. Let me get this name right. Asahel. There we go. Joab's servant Asahel went after Abner, which is on Team Saul. He's tracing after Abner, and Abner's letting him know, go somewhere, left, right. Go to one of the young men, go pursue them, go take their armor. Asahel's not listening. He's still following Abner. Abner says a second time, you're going to stop following me, or I'm going to have to turn around and I'm going to have to kill you. Matter of fact, where do you want me to kill you? He turns around, he kills Asahel. Abner puts a spear through Asahel. Asahel been following them for. Abner warned you though. I gotta say this. Abner warned him. So that's where we left off. Is Abner killing one of Joab's servants, and David's people also beating Team Saul's people. So yeah, that's the end of my summary. I don't know if you can hear me, Matt. Oh no. He's not even it. Chris, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Thomas, you can hear me. Okay, Chris, can you hear me? Oh no, don't tell me I gotta do this all over again.
Not looking too good.
Yeah, no, it's not looking too good at all. Oh man. Okay, we got two mats. One has a video. Okay. Let me see. All right, man. I see you. I just don't hear you.
There we go. Let me mute the other. Then I'll keep the video on there, and then I'll stop the video on here. That way, this background can be for the Bible. It's so extra.
You sound low on that screen.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing. Your audio is very diluted.
Oh, it would help if I didn't have it connected to that Bluetooth.
All right, how about now?
Yeah, that's better.
That sounds a lot better.
All right, cool. Can you guys see the background, the freaking the scripture?
Yes.
Okay, good. This is weird. Anyways,
I got a quick
I
question,
heard
Matt.
half of the prayer and none of the explanation or summary.
That's what I was just about to ask. Because I did the intro prayer and the summary, will it still like can you still upload that, or because you were gone from it?
Yes, because it uploads and it saves to my email.
Okay, yeah, I just had to make sure because you were gone when I was doing all the talking.
Yeah, we'll just continue from where you were at.
Okay, well, I'm at the part where we start reading, and I told Thomas and Chris I'm gonna read first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I volunteer for second.
Okay, cool. Before I start reading, Thomas, would you like to read?
Yeah, I'll read last.
Nice. If my phone,
Unless you want me to go first.
looks like I'm having technical difficulties. Okay. Just froze up on me. Yeah, you know what, Thomas? You go first. Just in case something pops up.
All right. So everybody, we're in.
You're still there?
What's up? Okay. So everybody, we're in 2 Samuel, chapter 2, verse 24. Give you guys a few seconds to get there. Okay. Joab also and Abishai pursued after Abner, and the sun went down when they were come to the hill of Ammah, that lieth before Giah, by the way of the wilderness of Gibeon. And the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together after Abner, and became one troop, and stood on the top of a hill. Then Abner called to Joab and said, Shall the sword devour forever? Knowest thou not that it will be bitterness in the latter end, in the later end? How long shall it be then? Ere thou bid the people return from following their brethrens. And Joab said, As God liveth, unless thou hast spoken, surely then in the morning the people had gone up, every one from following his brother. So Joab blew a trumpet, and all the people stood still, and pursued after Israel no more. Neither fought they anymore. Okay. All right. Let me just reread a couple things. Okay, so in verse 24, Joab and Abishai, if I'm saying that correct, pursued after Abner, and it practically took them all day to the point where by the time they got to the hill of Ammah, the sun was already going down, so they decided to lay their heads and rest in the wilderness of Gibeon. Verse 25. So the children of Benjamin ended up all gathering together in one big congregation and becoming one troop, and they stood on top of a hill. That's what verse 25 says. Verse 26, we'll read it real quick. So Abner is speaking to Job. He's asking, like, hey, should we always be fighting? Because this leads to bitterness, later down the line. Us always fighting leads to nothing but more destruction. How long shall it be then? Then he asks, how long should it be then? Thou bid the people to turn from following their brethren. So he's like, so how long should it be? Like, how long should we go about this in a nutshell? Correct? And then we have
Yes.
okay. And then verse 27, I'm gonna read it. So then we have Joab here speaking again, saying, as God lieth, unless thou hadst spoken, surely then in the morning the people had gone up. So, unless, one second, please.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. All right, 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. I didn't know it was there. So Joel is pretty much saying, unless God has spoken, this is what has to happen. So then in the morning, the people had gone up, everyone following his brother. In verse 28, so then Joel, he blows the trumpet in the morning, all the people there standing still, and then they start to pursue after Israel no more. Neither fought they or anymore. Okay, so after Joel blows the trumpet, all the people are standing there and they're no longer pursuing Israel because of Joel blowing their trumpet. And that's what I have for this summary.
Let me see if Matt, you still on?
Hello.
Yes.
There he is.
There we go.
Yep.
So yes, I'm still on. Give me 1 second. I gotta change the background.
So Thomas, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Other than everything else, which was good on 24, it said, because you brought up them taking a rest. Did you bring up them taking a rest because in one of the verses it said that lieth before Gia by the way of the wilderness of Gibeon?
Maybe I may have taken it out of context, but let me just go over it one more time and I'll be able to recite what I said.
I was just about to say the. How do I re-explain this? I'll read it in. So in verse 24, Joab also and Abishai pursued after Abner, and the sun went down. when they were come to the hill of Ammah. Now, that lieth before Gia. So it's just saying Ammah is before Gia.
So that's what I did not say, but I did mention to them practically traveling all day. And by the time,
Yeah. No, that part you got. Yeah, that part you got right. It was the resting part where I was like, I'm gonna let them finish, and then I'll bring it up after.
okay. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So it's talking about went down when they were come to the hill of Ammah. Yeah, going to Ammah, which is before Gia. That
Okay.
Other than that, that was all. Yeah, we're trying to Shakespeare this thing and convert it into 2024 for us to understand.
Right. All right. Now let me ask this. So did you know what? Why don't you go ahead one more time with your explanation? Because now I'm able to hear you a little bit.
Hey, before you
And that way
continue,
I could
I do hear an echo of you.
okay. Let me do this. All right, how about now?
Perfect.
All right. So I'm gonna have to do this real quick. This is so irritating. Anyways, give me 1 second. Let me pull over. I think I got to a better area with signal. All right. And you guys can hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. Let me just stop real quick. And I apologize. I thought I was in a good spot and I was not. It showed I had signal and it lied to me. So I'm going to switch this to break. Come on. All right. So, anyways, go ahead with your explanation real quick.
My son's taking the number
And
two
that'll
right.
give me time to set up the
Jeremy,
yeah, go ahead.
my son's taking the number 2. I gotta wipe him down real quick. I don't know if you want to just hop in. Go for it.
Well, we can give it a second because I got to make sure that what you explained was accurate and everything.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
You like 1 minute?
Not a problem at all. I mean, with all this confusion with the signal, it's understandable.
Not just that, but potty training a kid is hectic.
Of course.
Can't tell you how many nuggets I've been swept off the floor.
I mean, I don't think we need to have that information on Bible study, though.
Understood.
Because this also gives me a chance to set up the verses on the other section. All right.
Sorry about that, guys. Okay. You
No,
still
you're
there?
good.
Sorry for the hold up.
Yep.
All right. So, verse 24, we have Joab, also and Abishai, pursuing after Abner practically all day. And by the time the sun went down, they came they come to the hill of Amah that lieth before Gaia, right? Is that Gaia or Gia?
Gia.
Yeah, okay. By the wilderness of Gibeon in verse 25. So then the children of Benjamin all gathered up together after Abner, and they became one troop. So they all got together, like, hey, we're all one big congregation now. And they stood on top of the hill we spoke on earlier. Then verse 26. Then Abner calls to go at, and he's pretty much asking, like, how long is this going to go on? I feel like us continuing with this, with the sword devouring, pretty much fighting, only leads to bitterness and a terrible ending later down the line. So he's pretty much asking how much longer that's going to go on. Then verse 27, Joab said, let's go ahead. Then Joab asks, as long as he pretty much said, implying as in, as long as God, like, this is what he feels fit, then this is what it has to be. And then it says here, surely then in the morning the people had gone up, everyone from far.
Not good on the last part. On 27, you said, as long as it's what God said, that's what it has to be.
He says, and it says, and Joab said, as God liveth, unless thou hast spoken. So I'm taking that as is what God feels fit. Like, they go to God for their answers, and this is what God wants. Or is that?
Well, that doesn't work because he's talking to somebody, right?
Okay. So how would you, what's the proper interpretation for
Thou means you.
No, I mean liveth. As God liveth, what is that implying? Like, as God.
As God lives, as God exists.
So
even
okay.
as God is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's start spoken. So
You
Joab
could
said,
use it like the way people today use as God is my witness.
okay, so as Joab says, as God is my witness, unless thou hast spoken, surely then the morning the people had gone up, everyone from following his brother. So they're already in this congregation and they're on this hill. But what is he implying regarding to God? That's why I'm kind of stumped.
He's not referencing God as to talk about God. He says, as God lives. Like, remember, as I said, that's like somebody today saying, as God is my witness.
Okay. Okay, so he says, as God is my witness, then surely what is going to happen will happen. And then that's when.
Okay, you're guessing. Don't guess.
Okay.
Let's go back through it verse by verse. Start from verse 24.
Okay. Joab also and Abishai pursued after Abner.
Hold on, Chris. I'll respond to you after he gets this because I want to help him through it.
Joab also and Abishai.
Lower your hand. I'll call you after.
And his son went down when they were come to the hill of Amoth that lieth before Gaia, by the way of the wilderness of Gibeon. So they're pursuing, Joab and Abishai is pursuing after Abner practically all day. By the time the sun has gone down, they made it to the hill of Amoth that lieth before Gaia, by the way of the wilderness of Gibeon. In 25.
Well, you didn't explain it. You just reread it. What does it mean that lieth before Gaia?
They rest there. That's where they that's where they stopped it, right? That's where they rested.
No, lieth doesn't mean rested.
Oh, sorry, I was talking about before that. So I know that lieth is before, like before the location, right? Or
well,
around
it's located before. That lieth before is like saying that this is where it lays.
Okay.
Or in other words, this is the location. And so it's located before Gia.
Before Gia.
You see that?
Yeah.
So where did it say that they rested?
I was taking life out of context.
Okay. We got to make sure that when we're reading through, try to look at the things surrounding it. That would have given you a little bit.
Okay, so they
So
made it to
when they were come to the hill of Ammah, that lieth before Gia by the way of the wilderness of Gibeon. You got to remember to take your pauses into account. After Ammah, there's a comma, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that an end of a statement?
No, it's continuing.
Exactly. So we didn't stop that statement and then said that they lied before. We were continuing the statement of the location. And that would let you know that it's not saying they rested. It's saying that this is the area they got to when they were pursuing Abner. When they were, and I wouldn't use the word pursue in your explanation because you got to think about if a 5-year-old was listening, are they going to understand what pursued means normally?
So
Not
more like
likely.
follow. They
Yeah,
followed after.
followed after, came after. All
Am
right,
I
now
the-
to 25.
Okay. And the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together at the Abner and became one troop and stood on the top of. So the children of Benjamin all are gathered together for the same purpose, and that's to follow after Abner. And they all became one troop and stood on a hilltop. And then 26. So Abner,
26?
yeah, I'm reading, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So then Abner calls to Joab, and he says, "Shall the sword devour forever?" Meaning, as in, shall we continue to fight?
Not fight.
To kill, right?
Yeah, there you go. It's
Okay, so
it's worse than just fighting because a sword isn't devouring if we're just fighting.
right.
The
It's
sword is
kill.
only devouring if it's taking lives.
So
Now you
shall we?
got to keep in mind. I don't know, Charles, if you brought this up at the summary, but Abner tried to stop Asahel from pursuing after him and told him to turn to the side, that he didn't want to kill him because how could he face Joab afterwards?
About one of Joab's servants going after Abner and then Abner turning around killing him. You talking about that part?
It wasn't Joab's servant; it was Joab's brother.
Let me
Asahel
go
was
back.
Joab's brother, and he said, "How will I look at thy brother, Joab?"
That was my fault then, because I brought him up as the servant.
All right. Remember, when we're going through and reading through, especially if you're prepping for it, I know there was some confusion with the technology and the signal today, which is my fault, and I apologize for that. But when you're going through, you can't be guessing. I don't know how. I'll always have to say this: stop guessing. Look it up, because now you just change the entire context, which makes this whole section not make sense. Abner is telling Joab, "Shall the sword devour forever?" While Joab and Abishai, the two brothers, are coming after him. But why are they pursuing after him in the first place? Because Abner killed Asahel, their brother.
Right. I brought up Abner killing him. I just didn't bring up him being the brother.
Well, it makes a difference because they were willing to kill the servants and leave it at that. But then when he killed the brother, now they're pursuing after him. So then
Right.
Abner responds to him in 26. Are we going to keep killing each other? All right, go ahead, Thomas, and continue with 26, the second portion.
So he asks, "Are we going to keep killing each other?" And then he makes a statement, "Knowest thou not that it will be bitter in the later end?" So pretty much
It'll be
from part,
better.
I said bitterness. Bitterness,
Oh,
and
okay. I didn't hear that.
so pretty much implying like if we keep killing each other, later down the line, is what is this going to achieve by us continuing to kill each other? And and then it says, "How long shall it be then?" So he's still asking, like, how long is this going to go on?
Mm-hmm.
And then hear thou this. Return from the fallen, rebellious.
And then the second portion, ere thou bid the people return from following their brethren.
So what is bid?
Bid is to request or command.
Okay. One second, guys.
Not a problem.
So pretty much now, I take it as in they're requesting the people to return from following their brethren. So before that, he asked me how much longer is this killing going to go on, and then requesting the people to return from following their brothers, I mean, as in the Benjamites. Is that along the lines, or am I off?
You're pretty close. You're pretty close. How long shall it be then, ere thou bid the people return from following their brethren?
Yeah.
See, brethren could be the children of Benjamin, or it could be that he's part of the children of Israel. And so he's saying, like, how long are you going to have them following after me? Why, like, knowing that, how long are we going to be killing each other? Don't you know at the end of it, it's just going to be bitterness at the end? It's not going to make anything better. How long then are you going to sit here and have these people not return from following after us? So it's not the Benjamites, because the Benjamites are the ones that are with them, that are following after Abner, right? So then brethren has to be someone else or some other group. What's the other option for brethren? Abner and his people, as in correlation to them being the children of Israel. Make sense?
Yes.
All right. Now go ahead in 27.
Okay, go over there, please.
Now keep in mind, Abner was telling this to Joab when you go to read 27. Don't forget that.
Yep. So Joab, after what the statement that Abner had made to Joab, Joab blows the trumpet, and all the people stood still, and then
No,
pursued
you
after.
haven't done 27. You just skipped 27. Do the explanation for 27.
My bad. And Joab said, and Joab says, "As God is my witness, unless thou hast spoken." So he's pretty much saying to Abner, unless thou hast spoken, surely then in the morning we still would be pursuing after, what's his name? Pursuing after Abner, correct? And then,
Yeah.
so then verse 29.
29?
Sorry about that. Then verse 28, then Joab blows a trumpet, and all the men, they stopped what they're doing and stood still, and then they no longer pursued after Israel, neither following nor anything of that such.
Now,
Yeah,
why use the term? Why use the name Israel?
that's why I was just reading from the verse itself.
No. I'm saying, why would it use the name Israel in 28?
Because he's speaking like for the majority.
Not majority. They're all sides here are part of the children of Israel.
Oh, the different tribes.
Joab, not just different tribes, different individuals. But here they were pursuing after Abner, who's part of the children of Israel. And then what did he say in 26? How long are you going to keep these people following after their brethren?
Yeah.
Remember why I said there's the possibility that it might mean Abner and them as the children of Israel? And then we see at the end, Joab blew the trumpet, and all the people stood still and pursued after Israel no more. In other words, they stopped pursuing after their brethren of the children of Israel. In other words, they stopped pursuing after Abner. You see how that correlates?
Yeah, the way you put it, for sure.
Well, it'll take time. I mean, once you're able to put more full focus into the Bible studies, you'll get it over time. But that's going to take time to get there. It's not going to be something that happens right away. Charles still slipped up even in his summary today. And he's been studying with me for a year, almost a year and a half. So take that into account. It's gone a little bit of ways. Now then, with that being said, go ahead, Chris.
So, just to clarify, when you say stop pursuing your brethren, it means basically don't chase after them. And I'm assuming with ill intent. Is that what you mean by that?
Well, yeah, pursuing is almost always used in a malicious intent. You
Okay.
don't pursue after somebody to try to give them a present.
Right.
You pursue after somebody, you're coming after them.
Okay,
If
I
you
just
were
had to make
trying
sure I
to,
understood that part.
yeah. Well, the reason that you could know that without asking is if we look at what is it that they were trying to do. Well, we know from 26, shall the sword devour forever? We know that he's explained that they were trying to kill Abner and his group.
Got
Right?
you.
So from the verse itself, we know what pursued meant because we know the response that was given. This is where that context comes into play. This is why I said from the beginning with you guys, make sure you pay attention to the 5 W's. Who, what, when, where, and why. See, we didn't have a why from verse 24 or from verse 25, but we do from verse 26. So if you keep 26 in mind, now we understand more of 24 and 25. This is also why I tell people if anybody brings up a scripture randomly, write down the scripture if you don't know it. Then when you go to look it up, read a minimum 10 verses before and 10 verses after as one fluid thing. That way, for the most part, at like a 99%, you can know what the context is actually talking about. All right. Now on to the next section. Now, who was chosen to do the reading for the second section?
That's gonna be me.
All right. Now, as you go to read, like I just said, keep that all in mind.
Okay.
All the 5 W's. Pay attention to who's involved. And don't forget the people that were involved before.
Gosh. All right. 2 Samuel chapter 2, 29 through 32. Give y'all a couple seconds. All right. And Abner and his men walked all that night through the plain and passed over Jordan and went through all Bithron. And they came to Mahanaim. And Joab returned from following Abner. And when he gathered all the people together, there lacked of David's servants 19 men and Asahel. But the servants of David smitten of Benjamin and of Abner's men, so that 303 score men died. And they took up Asahel and buried him in the sepulcher of his father. Did I say sepulcher? Sepulcher?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to have to go back on that one.
The grave.
Okay.
The graveyard, so to speak.
Okay. So, and they took up Asahel and buried him unto the sepulcher of his father, which was in Bethlehem. And Joab and his men went all night and came to Hebron at break of day. So give me a couple seconds to go through it real quick. So 29 through 30, Abner traveled all night, even passed through Jordan, went through Bithron and Mahanaim.
Yep, Mahanaim.
Mahanaim. And basically they stopped pursuing Abner. And when they gathered all the people, they seen that 19 men and Asahel.
Wait, they stopped pursuing Abner?
Yeah, they stopped following Abner.
Is that what it says in 30 in the first sentence?
Okay, so they stopped following Abner. And so I'm mixing up that
No,
part.
not that they stopped. It didn't say stop, did it?
Well, they came back from.
There you go. Now, why
Okay.
does stop not work in that sentence?
Because just because they came back from it doesn't mean they actually stopped.
No, but good try. If you were to say that they stopped pursuing after Abner, that doesn't mean that they returned at all. They could have stopped and then went over to the country of Edom. They could have
Okay.
stopped and then did a sacrifice unto God. All stopped is that they literally stopped. They no longer pursued. But we don't see here it's saying that they stopped pursuing. We see that they returned from following after Abner. That's different than just stopping, right? It's
Right.
more than just stopping. All right, go ahead and continue.
Okay. So and Joab returned from following Abner. And they noticed that 19 servants of David's and Asahel himself were missing. And in 31, I'm not too sure on this, but what it seems like David had killed Benjamin's servants. Is that what that means?
No, it didn't say Benjamin's servants.
It said, but the servants of David had smitten Benjamin. Had smitten up Benjamin. Yeah, no. So what does that actually mean?
All right. Well, what is verse 30 talking about? Remember to keep in mind the context of the other verses.
Right, that they had gathered all the people and they lacked 19 servants.
So why would they be lacking 19 servants?
Either they had disappeared randomly or they were killed.
Well, what happened to Azahel, as we talked about?
Also, one of those included. So 20 people in total, but 19
No.
servants in Asahel.
What did we read about Azahel? What did we talk about? What did Charles bring up at the summary? What happened to Azahel?
I couldn't even tell you. Give me 1 second. Tell me a verse and I can pull it up in the KJV.
This is why you got to pay attention to summary and try to focus on that too.
Yeah,
Azahel was killed.
I'm paying attention, but it's like I got so much going through the mind. It's just like I got ADHD.
Do you have a piece of paper for notes?
Yeah. Well, no, I let me stop lying. I got my phone.
Okay, stop being on your phone. You need to use a piece of paper to write it down because it's more space to work with.
Right.
And you can write in multiple areas. On the phone, you're stuck typing through or writing in a small area. On a piece of paper, you could start on the left, go to the right, start on the bottom, go to the top. And when he's doing the summary, or when I'm doing the summary, you need to write down the 5 W's from the summary. Who were the
Right.
people listed? What happened? All that. If you need a notebook, and I can get you a notebook,
No,
but
I
you
have
need
one.
to use paper because you got more space and the ability to move around.
Right.
So Azahel was killed by Abner after telling Azahel, bro, I don't want to kill you because then I got to deal with your brother. Turn to the side, leave, like go grab a shield or something. Don't sit here, stop coming after me. I'm not trying to kill you.
Right.
So Azahel died. Now, knowing that information, what happened to the servants of David, the 19 servants?
They just left. Like they weren't there. They were missing.
Why would you assume they left? If we know that
Oh no, these
Azahel
were
died and Azahel is listed there,
the only thing I would say is that it correlates to David's servants. 19 men were missing. Or that they
yes,
lacked
but
them,
it
that they
brings
weren't
up
there anymore.
Azahel, right?
Right.
And what did we say happened to Azahel?
That he was killed. So either they were killed or they just left.
So they were killed. 19 men of David's servants and Azahel died.
Right. And that's why I was just like, well,
So keep
the
that in
smitten of
mind.
Benjamin, that's why I was like they were probably killed.
You said the
I made
servants of Benjamin were killed.
oh,
That's where it was wrong. So try
okay.
explaining 31 again.
Okay. Well, 31 it says clearly the servants of David had smitten of Benjamin, which means they killed his servants. Or they killed.
The servant killed Benjamin's servants?
So does that mean they killed
No,
Benjamin
yes.
himself?
The
David has
people of
smitten
Benjamin.
of Benjamin.
If it
Okay.
doesn't say servants, you don't assume the servants. It just says smitten of Benjamin. Keep in mind the differences. With David's servants, it specifies the David's servants, right?
Right.
And then it says, but the servants of David had smitten of Benjamin. It doesn't say the servants of Benjamin, does it?
That is correct.
So why would you add something that's not there? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Instead
This
of
is why I said
intermingling
like
them.
only exactly. So the people of Benjamin and of Abner's men.
Right.
Okay. So we have Abner's servants, Abner's men, and we have people of Benjamin. And then it continues the column when it says, so
And a
that
total of 300 people.
Not 300. Do you know how
300
much
score?
a score is?
Absolutely not.
Score is 20. 20 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 is 20.
So 300 times 20?
No. Okay, you're guessing. What does it say?
No, I'm asking because because it says 300
Well,
score.
I'm trying.
So
It doesn't say 300 score, does it?
it says 303 score. Also 360.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Okay, so a total
So
of 360 people were slain
between who?
between Asahel and Benjamin. Or Abner and Benjamin. The people of Benjamin and Abner's men.
Mm-mm. Look at the end of we have 19 people from David's servants in Asahel, right?
Okay, give me 1 second. There lacked of David's servants 19 men and Asahel, which would go to David.
Mm-hmm.
And then that would be, but the servants of Benjamin, the servants of David has smitten Benjamin and Abner's men, 360 people.
It said 360. I thought it said so that.
So that, so 360 people total. Sorry.
There you go. It's 360 people total, not
So,
just of Asahel and Abner, not just of the servants, not just of the people of Benjamin and Abner, but
so
of David's
301.
servants. Asahel, no. Why would you say 301?
No, because 19 plus 301. Oh, no, 300 of, because they said 19 and Asahel. So it'd be 300.
Exactly. So
And
you
then
have
20.
David's servants,
Okay.
which were 19 men. You had Asahel, which would make 20. Then you
Right.
had the people of Benjamin, and you had Abner's men. And then you have the comma, and it says so that. So between David's servants, Asahel, the people of Benjamin, and Abner's men, in total, the people that died were 360 people.
Okay. Yeah. Math ain't my strong suit if you haven't seen.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's something that'll grow over time. It just that's why we take it slow. It's okay to take time as long as we get it right.
Okay. So again,
And then
just running it
explain
back.
verse 32.
Okay. So Asahel got buried in his father's grave.
I wouldn't
That's
use
what
grave.
so, grave site burial. Because you said
Yeah, burial site, grave site.
burial
Yeah.
site. Okay. And that
Remember
was
I
in
said a
Bethlehem.
sepulcher is like a tomb or a graveyard type thing. Like when you
Okay.
have a tomb, you don't have a tomb always of just one person. You have an area where multiple people are buried.
Right.
If they're of the
And
same
that
family.
was located in Bethlehem. And Joab and his men traveled until they reached Hebron at daybreak.
Yep. Good. Now on to the final section. That was good, especially for being one of the first times that you're explaining. Now, you got to do one more verse because they're supposed to go through verse 1 of chapter 3 for 5 verses. So all you got to do is read this one verse and do the explanation. But in future reference, if it goes across the chapter, whoever is on that section needs to read both parts.
Understood.
And then do the explanation after. All right, go ahead and read verse 1 and then explain.
Okay. 2 Samuel chapter 3, verse 1. Now there was long war between the house of Saul and the house of David. But David waxed stronger and stronger. And the house of Saul waxed weaker and weaker. And that's self-explanatory because David was giving him the works, or not giving him the works, but giving his people the works. And
remember, you got to keep in mind if a
Hang.
5-year-old is listening, make it in a way that a 5-year-old would understand.
Okay. Just David's side was winning. more and more. And then Saul just started to get, or Saul's team got weaker and weaker.
Good. One other thing you forgot to add, the very first part of it. You got to
But it was a
re-explain
long
that.
war. It was a long war.
Well, 5-year-olds might not know what a war is. What's another word for a war? Starts with an F. F-I.
I'm on mute this whole time. I said fight. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah,
It
it
was
was a long fight. David's team kept getting stronger, and Saul's team kept getting weaker.
good. Now I'll change the background to the final section. Then, Charles, you can do your reading.
Let's see, 2 to 5. I'm going to be reading 2 Samuel, chapter 3, verses 2 to 5. I'll give it 5 seconds. Verse 2. And unto David were sons born in Hebron, and his firstborn was. Let me make sure I'm saying this one right. Amnon, Amnon of Ahinoam, the Yezreelite,
Now you're 31.
Yezreelitis. You said 30 what?
I said you're 30. You said I'm 9.
Oh, of Ahinoam, the Yezreelitis, and his second son, or his second, is that one Ch or K? Kilab, really? Kiliab of Abigail, the wife of Nabal the Carmelite, and the third, Absalom, or Abishalom, Abishalom, the son of Maacah, the daughter of Talmai, king of Jeshua. Oh, the phonetic had the double O with the R. Jeshua.
Yeah, yeah, Geshur. But there is no J in Hebrew, so it wouldn't be Jeshur. Geshur.
Geshur.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
the fourth, Adoniah. Yeah, Adoniah. Adoniah, the son of Haggith. Or Haggith. There we go. And the fifth, Shaphatai, or Shaphat, Shaphatiyah. Shaphatiyah. Shaphatiyah, the son of Abito.
Shifati, yeah.
Yeah, I knew that was a joke coming with it. And the sixth, Eth, Eth Rayam,
Ithram.
Rayam by Eglah, David's wife. These were born to David in Hebron. So, funny side note. I don't know. Well, Thomas, you were part of it, but Chris, David already had a first wife, which was Saul's daughter, which is Michal. Michal's name is not in any of these at all. And you were part of the study where David had the two wives, the Yezreelitis, and Abigail, that used to be married to the Carmelite. Of the two wives, we're reading right now. He has a son. One wife has a son. Two wives have a son. Oh wait, did Abigail bring more? In his second, Abigail, the wife of, and the third, the son of
I was
Michal,
finna say,
the
glad I waited.
daughter of King of. Hold on, let me stop for a second. And the third, she have a name. Why do they do this? It always throws me for a loop every time they write it this way.
We'll go
So,
section
okay,
by
verse.
section.
Yeah. So
The
verse
first
2,
wife.
we got verse 2 is the verse 2 is the first wife with the first son. Verse
Mhm.
3 is we're talking about the second wife. Now, on the first part, there is the second son, which is born to Abigail, second wife.
But what's the name of the son?
Well, for the first part, Kiliab, which would
Yeah, there you
be
go.
his son.
So let's separate
His
them
son
into
through
sections.
Abigail.
It'll make it a little easier. Who are the sons' names?
Well, I got to reread. Amnon, which is the first son. Kiliab, the second son. The third is Absalom.
Mm-hmm.
Son of Maacah, the daughter of Talmai. So Maacah is the daughter of Talmai, and this guy was the king of
Gesher.
Geshur.
Yeshua.
Geshur. So we have the third son, and we have, and it's not labeling her as a wife, but it is labeling, the fact that he had a kid with this woman. Now we got the fourth son.
Remember, the wife was given away by Saul after he had already been married to her.
What do you mean? Michal is that's Saul's daughter.
Now remember, Maacah, she was given away after what was it? After his Saul gave away two wives of David. The first one, one wife, two supposed to be wives.
I don't think that was her name though. You're talking about the other daughter of Saul.
No, yeah, this is one of the daughters of Saul. Maacah was one of the daughters of Saul.
I have to go back and look at it. I don't remember Michal being one of the daughters of Saul, because right here it's talking about the daughter of Talmai, king of Jeshua, not king of not the daughter of Saul.
No, it wasn't. Here, I'm gonna go to it. Give me 1 second. Oh no! You were right. It was Milcah. I stand corrected.
That's what I said earlier. I started that before
You're
the Mika or Mika, something like that. She's not listed in this. Yeah, she's not listed under this. But yeah, that's why I was saying with verse 3, we have the second wife Abigail has a son, but this woman has the third son, but it's not labeling her as a wife. It's just labeling her as the one that had the third son, who's the daughter of somebody else.
It didn't label the first one as a wife. Did it?
Oh, wait, hold on. Firstborn was a mom. No, she wasn't a wife either. So firstborn wasn't a wife.
Yeah.
Secondborn was through the wife. The thirdborn.
No. That's not what's going on. Don't guess, Charles. You've never. It's been a long time since you've had this problem this much.
What do you mean? Don't guess.
You're guessing. You're saying that
the
first one was not his wife.
And unto David were sons. I'm gonna read it. And unto David were sons born in Hebron, and his firstborn was Amnon of Ahinoam the Jezreelites.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think I originally called her the wife.
Going.
Oh, verse 3. In the second, Killy. Well, before I keep going, where did I guess?
Keep going. You said that the first was not his wife. It's incorrect. And you did it because you took 3 out of context.
No, originally I did say she was the wife. Then I took it back. So first one, Ahinoam, verse 3, and his second, Kiliab of Abigail, the wife of Nabal the Carmelite. And the third, Absalom, the son of Maacah, the daughter of Talmai, king of Jeshur. And the fourth, Adoniah, the son of Haggith. And the fifth, Shaphataiah, the son of Abital. And the sixth, Ethraim by Eglah, David's wife. These were born to David in Hebron. Now let me go all the way back to 2. Now I got to go back to a verse to confirm Ahinoam, but David had his firstborn through Ahinoam. The second was through Abigail, which I know Abigail's the wife of David because she went to David after Nabal had passed. The little crap with Nabal we read about. Third one is through Maacah. Fourth child, Adoniah. And the fifth, and the fifth child, Shaphataiah. Then the sixth is through a wife that it just brought up, which would be Ephraim or Ephraim. Yeah, well, so the last child, the sixth child, was born through a wife. So right now, other than the Michal, which was Saul's daughter, which we don't have right now, we have 6 children. 3 are by wives, and yeah, because 1, 2.
Why would you say 3 are by wives?
The first, second,
we know that
and the
Ahinoam
last
was married to David. It talked about it when it talked about Abigail, when he got Abigail's wife. He said his 2 wives were taken to Ziklag.
I was trying to remember the second name. That's why I wanted to go back on it because I was trying to remember the second name of him. I remember Abigail.
So what is it doing
the one
if
I
it's
didn't
not
remember.
saying? Yeah, what is it doing then? Don't think specifically. Think about what it's trying to do by the way it's phrasing and the way it's saying.
I mean, other than telling us that he had kids with these women, the only other thing I could think about.
His kids by him.
Well, I mean, it breaks down the kid, it breaks down the kid's name, it breaks down the mom and where the mom's from or who the mom is.
There you go. It's showing the ancestry or the connection of where the moms are from as well. Abigail, the wife of Nabal, that's where she came from. Ahinoam, the Jezreelitess, she was a woman from Jezreel. Then we have Absalom's mom, Maacah, who's the daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur. And then we have the fourth, Adoniah, and the son of Haggith. So we have Haggith, we have Sheptai, which is the son of Abital. So we have Haggith, Abital, and Eglah. Now, this seems like random information, right? Why are we finding out the history of some of David's wives and not others?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know because when I bring up, like, let's say when I do the names and I'm doing the names and this, that, and the third, you haven't told me to bring up where these people are from in a long time.
Exactly. But every time we brought up where they're from, what ended up happening? There was some important information that had to do with it.
It depended on what happened because this was a long time ago where you actually wanted me to break down like where they're from because it might affect it might affect someone in the story depending on where they're from.
Exactly. This is something to keep in mind, guys. When we're reading and it goes into details like this, it's making these people stand out for a reason. So we don't know why it's so much more detailed for Ahinoam, Abigail. Well, we know why Abigail, but we don't know future-wise. And then Maacah. We don't know why it went so much more into detail for them. We just know that it did. And being the fact that it did, we know that in the future reference or because of the past, there's going to be something important that relates to it. This is one of those times where it seems like random information, but it's more like foreshadowing. Thomas, you know what foreshadowing means? Don't say what it means. I just want to know yes or no.
Yes, sir.
All right, Chris, you know what foreshadowing means?
Yep.
All right. Then for those listening, in case someone's listening doesn't know, foreshadowing is giving somebody a hint of something that is to come later on. So you'll bring up a person. Let's say I, in the future, marry some girl named Jasmine. And then in the present time, I meet some girl named Jasmine, and the story keeps on showing Jasmine for like 5 episodes of the TV show. Let's just say, for example. Well, we know because of the 5 episodes specifically showing her, we know that she's important to the future. But we don't find out until the future happens that that's the reason why. So in the same token here, we don't know why those 3 wives had so much more information. We know a little bit past wise as towards why Abigail was, but we don't know why for the others. But we know that it's making them stand out for a reason, which also means for Adoniah and for Haggith, for Abital, and for Eglah, we know that they're not going to be as important in the future. Eglah might, because it specifies Eglah being David's wife. So keep her name in importance as well. But this is a little thing to keep in your notes, to keep in mind when we're reading and studying. All right. And that's the end of this section. Is there anything anybody wants to ask or say before we get continued and pray it out? All right, go ahead, Chris.
I ain't gonna lie, man. A couple of these names sound Samoan, bruh.
Sounds Samoan?
Yeah, that's Shafatia. That sound like something you say in the Haku.
Well, who knows? Maybe part of their language derives from Hebrew. We got to
Maybe.
remember that originally in the Tower of Babel, when everybody was gathered together, and that everyone spoke one language. It's no wonder that today every language correlates in some way, shape, or form.
Right, but most of them, like most Samoans, like they all in Utah and whatnot, they follow Mormonism or like like what the classification of it is. But most Samoans are Mormons now. There's barely a few Christian Samoans.
That's not surprising. All right, now, with all that being aside, let's go ahead and pray it out now that I can actually speak and you guys can hear me. Unlike the beginning, this is probably the worst study we've had when it came to signal. Sorry, everybody, for all the confusion and everything if it doesn't come out fully okay and all that. Go ahead and bow your heads. Father, thank you for this time you've given us to be able to study. We know that everything happens for a reason, and I think the reason here is that I need to be better planned ahead to make sure I'm in an area that I know for sure that we can be able to study and everything. And I just pray you have your way in our life and that we're able to move in such a way that it's not even a question, but everything is shown exactly how it's supposed to. In your son's holy and precious name. Jesus Christ, Yeshua. Amen. All right,
Amen.
everybody. Enjoy the rest of the night, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Likewise.